Sofia Coppola is a writer-director that absolutely cares about the detail. Her latest film, On the Rocks, stars Bill Murray. Yes, she's back with him. I think it's almost 17 years ago that they made Lost in Translation together, which was such a big film. It's a total classic now. In this film, Bill Murray is joined by Rashida Jones, who plays his daughter, and you have this kind of like dysfunctional slash sort of reacquainting themselves relationship between this father and daughter. It also co-stars Marlon Wayans, who plays Rashida's husband. This film is not what you expect. It's not predictable. It's beautiful. It's easy to watch, and I absolutely loved it. Take a look, and when we come back, I'm going to be talking to Adrian, who's one of the writers at Flip Your Wig, and we're going to share our review.
Maybe he's just not interested in me anymore.
Impossible. A woman is at her most beautiful between the ages of 35 and 39.
Great. So I have many months left.
Oh my God. I know we love her. Sofia has written this, directed it. You are a writer. Adrian's one of the writers at Flip Your Wig. Did you just fall in love with this little film? What did you think?
So, being a writer, I do pay a lot of attention to the script and the dialogue. And often it gets overlooked, especially on the movies that have such stunning cinematography, because obviously that draws the eye. And she's done an amazing job. I mean, this movie is beautiful to look at. It really is.
Been busy?
Yeah. Dean's traveling with clients all the time, and I'm just the buzzkill waiting to schedule things. I'm so stuck.
She's at home looking after the children, and the basis of the story is basically she starts to think, oh my God, I think he's cheating. And she goes to her dad, who's played by Bill Murray, for help. And that's when it all kind of goes wrong, right?
It's fantastic because the movie is essentially one big red herring. And like when you watch a mystery films or crime films, you have all these red herrings that lead somewhere. Here, everything is a red herring. Like the whole plot is a red herring because it's not about that. It's about this amazing sort of heartwarming relationship that the two of them build, because they kind of like reconnect, because clearly they're not as close as they used to be.
Yeah.
And going on this sort of, investigation together, and this journey to investigate whether or not her husband is cheating on her.
So Dean's going away a lot, huh? On business trips?
Dad,
Raise your hand if that sounds fishy.
he's not like you. He's a good guy, a great dad.
Sure, it's nature. Males are forced to fight, to dominate, and to impregnate all females.
It's so easy to watch as well, Adrian. Like you can just sit there and completely get lost in the story, but it's not like heavy. Like you're not sitting there thinking, oh my God, this is too much for me to take on. It's just the pace of the film is just so lovely.
I think that also the humor
Yeah.
in the film is so solid. And
Yeah.
the life is full of humor like that, because we constantly joke around with our families, with friends. We try to take serious things lightly just so they're not this huge weight that we got to carry on our shoulders. And that's why having someone like Bill Murray with Rashida Jones, who have this kind of back and forth with the sarcasm sort of on both ends, it's just brilliant to watch.
Yeah. And also, like the three, like Marlon Wayans, Rashida Jones, Bill Murray, you wouldn't obviously put those three in a film together, but it is really about all these three people. And Marlon Wayans, yes, he's not a leading character, but he still has a lot of great moments in there. And he absolutely, as a comedian, who we've known mostly as a comedian first, even in films, it's really good when you see him in these straight roles, because you forget, actually, he's a good little actor, that guy.
Felix, you're back in town.
Been busy?
Yeah, got a lot going on.
Do you? He should be worshiping the ground you walk on. And if he's doing something dishonorable, you need to know.
What if Dean's just busy? I'm in a rut. That's it.
I think we should follow him.
What?
I hope, because it's on Apple TV and not everybody has Apple, I know it's in select cinemas as well across the UK. I really hope enough people get to see it, to enjoy it and see what she can do.
I think that perhaps it's my favorite film of 2020 so far.
Ooh.
And you know that I've been thinking about it, and you know that I love Tenet.
I know, you're like me, you're obsessed, so look at you like, what? That's oh, I love that. I can see why though, because as a writer, you love like the words, and it's very poetic. It's very beautifully, everything flows perfectly, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's masterfully crafted, and I think that because of what happened with the COVID and the fact that there's so many movies that didn't get to be released this year, some of them may never even see the light of day when we're speaking about these really small films that relied literally on this last ditch sort of release.
Yeah.
So I think there was a gap for movies like this to be actually seen by more people than normally would have watched them. And the fact that they have Apple backing them and putting them on Apple TV Plus, I think it's an opportunity for this kind of like, we can call it independent cinema because it wasn't made for a lot of money.
Yeah.
This kind of like slice of life drama.
Because think about if COVID hadn't happened right now, we would have had that whole run of Quiet Place 2, Bond coming, Wonder Woman, and I'm forgetting loads, Candyman. There's a whole Halloween. But in a way, it's funny you say that, because I was thinking about that the other day. I was thinking these big cinemas, and it was on the back of some of the conversations we had with flipyourwig.net and all the features that we talk about weekly. It does feel like this is an opportunity right now, even for the cinemas that have stayed open, to be able to have new films to show that won't break the bank. This is when you do reach for a On the Rocks, even though that's not traditionally the most independent, small budget film. But yeah, I think it's a funny way of looking at it, but there is definitely a silver lining in all this insane time that we're having in the film industry.
I think it's going to open up a lot of people to movies that they didn't even know they would have liked. And it's not that they can't like go on and watch like Avengers, like it's all on Disney Plus. They can always rewatch films they haven't seen before, but like everyone wants to see new movies as well, just because it's a conversational piece, and like people may not be able to maybe hang out as much now, especially with the new restrictions sort of coming in now, but they'll still have these Zoom sort of calls with their friends, and you don't want to be left out. You want to watch what's new, and if the only films that are coming out now are movies like that, sort of the low-key dramas, or drama comedies, because it is really funny as well, the On the Rocks, and I think it's an opportunity.
Yeah, and I think it's really important, like, for everyone to hear the bit about it's really good, guys, because for some reason, Adrian, you know this, we had these chats pre-COVID as well, because we at Flip Your Wig, we really try and champion those films that we think are beautifully made or just incredible, entertaining, and just get forgotten because of the big budget films. These films are really good, like what you've just said about On the Rocks. I completely agree with. Even if we weren't in COVID era and we'd been watching all of the other usual films, I still feel like this would be in my top 10 for the year so far that I've watched, because it's worthy of it. It's brilliant, but it gets overshadowed. And that's where I hope part of us doing these sort of reviews now for you guys as well is, I see a lot of people saying, oh, you're not doing premieres, oh, you're not going out as much. And I feel like we are so flipping passionate about film, and TV series now is something that I've got into during lockdown, which I wasn't about before. I was music and film, and some of those conversations, I know people love sharing and talking, and we have a different voice in this space, right? Because you and I, we can thoroughly enjoy a Marvel film, but then we can absolutely enjoy something like On the Rocks and have just as much pleasure from both. And I feel like there's a lot of people like us that are in the middle, but sometimes they're not getting the opportunity that we get to enjoy both worlds.
I think that, we, like you said, we always champion these smaller films, and like I know you're just as happy as I am that they will get to be seen by more people and they will reach more mainstream audience. And it's great to see Apple, doing stuff like that as well, because with the streaming services, you kind of assume that one of their sort of big like first movies will be something like powerful, like when Netflix made the Will Smith movie that kind of didn't work out. Bright, was it? I mean, it was supposed to be this like huge movie.
It wasn't that bad, you know what? I'm just gonna say it wasn't that bad.
I actually enjoyed it. But like, Apple is like, you know what? One of our first originals is going to be this.
The conversation you and I have had recently, we're always talking about streaming sites, and we're trying to think, okay, we want to be fair to the audience, and we want to share stuff that's on Disney Plus, stuff that's on Netflix, stuff that's on Amazon Prime, and also over at Apple TV. And these are just some of the providers that we're across. And I said to you, and I will stick by this, as a girl that's had Netflix for so long, Netflix is like having the regular channels to me now. If I didn't have Netflix, I would probably have a meltdown just because I'm so used to having it. what Apple TV have done for me, and I've kind of dipped into Amazon, I've dipped into different things, but for me, everything Apple TV I've watched that they put out, whether it was a documentary, whether it was a series around a particular topic, or films, it's been of quality. It's been like less is more. We're going to spend a lot of money on a few shows rather than hundreds. And I absolutely have noticed the quality of the shows that they're making, the films that they're picking, the things that they're backing. There's like a level of like quality rather than a quantity. Let's just throw it out, keep going, keep going.
Like, I mean, what a genius move to bring Sofia Coppola to do it. And I mean, how great for her as well to, again, like, make a movie like this, because I think she's never done a bad movie in her life. Some of them were average, decent, but something was missing. Something was missing, and now she's been given this freedom to do On the Rocks.
Can you just act a little less excited about this? Because this is my life, and it might be falling apart.
I don't know why women get plastic surgery.
Because of men like you.
I prefer the factory original.
Yeah, and every other make and model.
Thank you. I'm going to take that as a compliment. Are there two? Oh, scared me.